Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
We are waking up to colder temperatures this morning. A frost advisory in effect for parts of the viewing area. I'll show you how cold it'll be when you head out the door.
And this morning, we will get a better idea of how much the price of things like groceries and gas have gone up over the last month. What economists are predicting about today's Consumer Price Index report.
Plus, President Biden will meet with President-elect Donald Trump for the first time since the election this morning. They're meeting today as Trump continues to nominate members of his future cabinet. And so that transition process begins. Good morning, everyone. It is 4:30. Great to have you with us. Not so much a transition, but a change in our weather in terms of temperatures when you step outside. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, it is abrupt on this Wednesday morning as you get outside. Elizabeth Gardner over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. And we see it there with that frost advisory.
You can definitely feel it, too, when you step out the door. Our temperatures are going to be cold enough near the Virginia line, but the Weather Service has issued the frost advisory for a good chunk of our viewing area. We take a live look at downtown Raleigh. It's clear, and our dew point's way down at 32. That means it's very dry. It is 45 degrees right now, though, so we're not even close to any frost here. But it is 37 in Roxborough, 39 in South Hill, 39 in Rocky Mount, and our temperatures do continue to drop all the way up until around 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So we still have plenty of time for the temperatures to drop to the point that we could see some patchy frost. So expect upper 30s to low 40s this morning and a high of only 59 this afternoon, turning cooler. It'll be a little breezy and we'll see some cloud cover. Tropical outlook here in the Caribbean, an 80 to 90% chance that this storm will develop in the next few days, but it's likely to wander around down here in the Caribbean and next week potentially move into the Gulf with the potential for some impacts in Florida. We'll talk more about that coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. This morning, we're making calls to learn more about a house fire on Cooper Road in Raleigh. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was there near the end of our 11 p.m. news. You can see a large firefighter response in the video, and we're working to learn how the fire started and whether anyone was hurt.
We're also working to learn if any charges will be filed after a person was hit by a car on Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh. It happened around 8 o'clock last night near the Capitol Boulevard and Buffalo Road intersection. Police say the person who was hit was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Drivers were detoured off Capitol Boulevard as officers investigated there. President-elect Donald Trump and President Biden are expected to meet in the Oval Office today at 11 a.m. Melania Trump was also invited, but sources say she is not expected to attend. It's tradition for the outgoing president to host the incoming president following the election. Trump did not host Biden in 2020 as he falsely maintained the election was stolen.
President-elect Donald Trump wants to put Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy in charge of a new Department of Government Efficiency. This would fulfill a campaign promise to give Musk sweeping oversight of federal spending. Musk has said he wants to cut $2 trillion from the federal budget. Ramaswamy has called for mass layoffs at federal agencies.
And President-elect Trump plans to name Fox News personality Pete Hegseth as his Secretary of Defense. Hegseth is an Army veteran. In a post to Truth Social, Trump called Hegseth tough, smart, and a true believer in America first.
This morning, we'll get a better idea of how inflation is impacting how much you pay at the grocery store and gas station. October's Consumer Price Index report will be released at 8:30 this morning. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from Raleigh. Laura, good morning to you. Economists are expecting the report to show a slight increase in prices.
Renee, good morning. This new report comes as we have seen back-to-back rate cuts over the past 2 months. Now, today, we'll get a fresh new look at if the prices we're paying at stores like this one here behind me are actually taking a cut, too. We know that the Consumer Price Index measures price changes for goods and services. It's been considered an inflation tracker for quite some time. A Bank of America economist forecast the October CPI to show a firmer increase in core prices, with the median forecast pointing to a 0.3% rise month over month in October. So this would hold the 12-month core inflation rate at 3.3%. Now, some experts are worried the Federal Reserve is underestimating the risk of the economy overheating. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says he is hopeful about the economy. Now, he says that the latest CPI report comes out at 8:30. From there, it will determine if they are able to take another rate cut. We'll see. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Thanks for that, Laura. And new this morning, Durham Mayor Leah Williams is planning a news conference with the county commissioner and school board chairs today to talk about a number of issues dividing the community. This comes after WRAL released a report highlighting an increase in crimes committed by Durham residents in Wake County. Mayor Williams says the story was disappointing and unfair.
We can't control if an individual who live in Durham or Raleigh or wherever else decides to go and commit a crime. But crime happens, and I'm not going to pretend that that's not a reality anywhere in this country, not just Durham, but anywhere.
Arrest data from several agencies shows a 35% increase in charges against people from Durham in western Wake County since 2019. Williams says where they are from doesn't matter. The WRAL News team will be at Mayor Williams' press conference and covering that issue. What is discussed there? We will have live reports during our newscast from 4 till 7 this evening on WRAL.
Covering Wake County, a major development could be coming to downtown Fuquay Arena. Town officials are working on a deal to sell 2.5 acres next to Town Hall to a development group that would build ground-level shops topped with hundreds of apartments. Officials are weighing a proposal to give the developer millions in economic incentives for the proposed project at East Academy and North Main Streets. The apartment developer and a town spokeswoman declined to comment on the project near Town Hall. Officials scheduled a meeting for next week to discuss the sale and incentives. For more on the Fuquay Arena project, go to WRAL.com.
Ceilings caved in, floors torn apart from extensive water damage. Homeowners in one neighborhood in Holly Springs say they're experiencing all these problems because of broken pipes, and they all use Aqua NC as their water provider. Aqua NC confirmed with WRAL its crews performed flushing the pipes in the McKenzie neighborhood last week. Complaints quickly started coming in about burst pipes, damaged walls, and discolored water.
I'm looking for reimbursement, I'm looking for safety, for quality water, an emergency protocol, and just to make sure that we're getting the services that we're paying for.
Now, in a statement to WRAL, Aqua NC said our customers are also our neighbors, and we never want to see them in distress. Since learning about the issues, we've been in contact with customers who have been connected with our claims department to further investigate. Our operations team is also investigating the issue.
Some people who live in Raleigh's Village District are worried about plans to make the shopping center a social district.
We worry about the impact of open air consumption. What kind of message does it send?
We'll hear from neighbors who say they're concerned about people walking near their neighborhood with open containers.
And another Asheville landmark is reopening this week when guests can start staying overnight again at the Omni Grove Park Inn.
And let's give you a live look at Durham right now, the American Tobacco campus. It is chilly out there, so grab the jacket, maybe even the coat this morning. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will tell us when you'll need to pull out the umbrella.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
441, we have a frost advisory in effect for a good bit of the viewing area. The frost is most likely up near the Virginia line, north of Durham, maybe along and north of I-85. But it's definitely going to be colder this morning, no matter where you are. It's 45 in Durham and Raleigh, 44 degrees in Fayetteville. Our skies are clear, but it's going to be just a little bit breezy for today. That's one of the reasons we may not see a whole lot of frost developing. It's 39 in Lewisburg, 39 South Hill, 39 in Rocky Mount. Those are some of the coolest temperatures that we're seeing right now. But we may see those numbers drop just a few degrees by the time we get to 7 or 8 o'clock this morning. Upper 30s, low 40s is what you'll expect heading out the door to walk the dog. So it's chilly. A jacket feels good. It'll be a cool afternoon. Even with sunshine, we'll only make it into the upper 50s.
Boeing workers are back from their strike, but now they are getting ready for layoffs. Thousands of employees went back to work yesterday after a strike that lasted weeks. Their new contract includes raises each of the 4 years now, and Boeing plans to cut, though, 17,000 jobs. Boeing has not yet said which job departments will be affected by these layoffs.
All flights from the U.S. to Haiti are suspended for at least 30 days. The announcement from the FAA comes with planes from Spirit and JetBlue were hit by bullets while flying over Port-au-Prince. Haitian authorities already suspended flights in and out of Port-au-Prince for a week. Here's a live look at the U.S. Capitol this morning. Next week, FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell will visit Capitol Hill to answer questions about recent disaster response efforts at a congressional hearing. Criswell will appear before the subcommittee next Tuesday on FEMA's response to Hurricanes Helene and Milton. Members will ask questions about relief for victims, including claims that some FEMA officials did not prioritize helping people displaying Trump campaign signs at their homes. Criswell will also be testifying in front of the House Oversight Committee later that same day.
A Florida man pleaded guilty to conspiracy charges in connection with a scheme to defraud insurance regulators in several places, including North Carolina. According to court documents, 54-year-old Greg Lindbergh and his co-conspirators caused companies he controlled to invest more than $2 billion in loans and other securities into his own affiliated companies, and then he stole the money. Lindbergh was an insurance executive who was once North Carolina's biggest political donor.
We're learning more about the Southern Pines woman who died in a crash on a washed out portion of I-40 in western North Carolina. She's been identified as 62-year-old Patricia Mahoney. Authorities say Mahoney was driving the wrong way on a closed section of the highway near the Tennessee border Saturday night. Her car plunged 100 feet off a collapsed part of the interstate. It took crews from North Carolina and Tennessee about an hour to rappel down into the gorge to pull her from the car. And she was airlifted to a Tennessee hospital where she later died. Her family says a medical condition may have played a role in why she was going the wrong way on the closed interstate. One person was taken to the hospital after a fire in Cary. Video from the WRAL breaking news tracker shows the scene yesterday on Gregory Drive. Investigators believe a candle may have caused the fire. One person has minor injuries.
An Eastern Carolina high school has had another case of tuberculosis. It's second in just over a year. Pitt County Schools and the Pitt County Health Department say this case of tuberculosis is at D.H. Conley High School. It was confirmed Friday. School leaders sent parents and students letters informing them of the diagnosis. They say there is no public health risk at this time.
A new proposal to make Raleigh's Village District a social district is drumming up concern among some people who live nearby. This map shows the boundaries of where people would be able to drink alcohol outdoors. The proposal will allow people to drink beer, wine, or cocktails from specially marked cups during specific times in areas of the Village District. It would be similar to the Sip and Stroll program already in place in downtown Raleigh. Neighbors who spoke with WRAL say they are worried a social district could create a spillover effect of bad behavior.
I love going over to the wine bar. I love getting a beer, but can we leave it inside the establishment? Do we really need to go so far as to get one to go?
The Village District made its initial proposal to City Council last month. It likely won't be considered again until at least January.
The Omni Grove Park Inn will be reopening just in time to celebrate the holiday season. The inn will start welcoming guests for overnight stays this Friday. The spa has reopened and the golf course is open and available to book tee times. Dining will be available for overnight guests, while the gingerbread competition was canceled, sadly. Competitors are displaying their creations, though, at businesses around Asheville, so you can still enjoy it, just not right there.
Getting the holiday feel, though. The holiday season upon us. 446 down. I guess you could say our temperatures out there feeling like the holidays. This is a live look at North Hills. It is cool and crisp out there, Elizabeth.
It is looking gorgeous, really. We take a live look here at Zebulon, and when I pulled this up, you could see the flags moving around a little bit. They had all these flag displays set up for Veterans Day. It's a little bit breezy, and that's going to keep our temperatures from dropping all the way down to freezing this morning, especially from the Triangle area southward. Right now, the Triangle, it's 45, but our dew point's 32, and so that means we have a very dry air mass in place, and if our wind settles down, we'll see the temperatures dropping a little faster. So 39 to 40 as you're stepping out the door around 7 or 8 o'clock this morning. We do have a frost advisory in effect for most of the viewing area. It does not include our far southern counties, but I really feel like from the Triangle area southward, we're going to be pretty hard pressed to see much frost. It is 37 in Roxborough, 39 in South Hill, and 39 in Rocky Mount. So we might have a brief window closer to 7 a.m. near the Virginia line where we could have some patchy frost. A 24-hour temperature change, though, is huge, and that's really the biggest thing. It's a lot colder than it was this time yesterday, frost or no frost, anywhere from 10 to almost almost 20 degrees colder. So just be prepared for that. A little breezy out there this morning. And again, that may keep the frost from developing. Our winds are anywhere from about 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the north. And it's likely to be a bit breezy this afternoon with some gusts up to around 15. Cooler than it was yesterday with that northerly wind pushing on in. 59 in Raleigh, 58 in Durham, and 62 in Fayetteville. I love our Weather Watcher photo from today. Bobby Brown sent us this from infield. It almost looks like a watercolor painting there, doesn't it? The blue sky with the clouds and the pond there, just gorgeous. We would love to see what's happening in your backyard. Go to WRAL.com, search Weather Watchers, and send us a photo. Our normal low is 41, so it is typical for us to be pretty cold in the mornings by now. Our temperatures will be in the low to mid 40s all the way up until early next week. So expect to need a jacket or even a light coat heading out the door for the rest of the week. Today and tomorrow, highs will be in the 50s, which is the coolest that we've seen since last March. 64 is our normal high, but we're looking at 59 today, 53 on Thursday, and then temperatures rebound a bit over the weekend. We are looking for a chilly rain tomorrow. It's going to feel a bit more like Christmas. Our forecast high, 48 to 54, and the average high for the end of December is that. And of course, we're going to have some rain to go along with it. You know, we don't ever have a white Christmas anymore, so it's going to be a cold rain for us. We have precipitation moving up from the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to be swept up by this cold front and slide eastward across our area tomorrow. We should start to see the rain around 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, and that rain will just be with us on and off through the afternoon. Some of it may be fairly steady, maybe heavy at times, and we're looking at around an inch of rain or so. We're going to take a look at specific amounts of rain across the area coming up in just a little bit. Right now, as I mentioned, the weekend looks dry and a bit warmer.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Welcome back to the Black Parade. Everything you need to know about My Chemical Romance's new tour, and that's announcements coming up.
And there is a fried chicken war underway. The reason KFC is suing Church's Chicken over the original recipe. Chiefs star Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce's homes were burglarized last month, according to authorities. Officers were called to the home of Chiefs quarterback Mahomes shortly after midnight on October 6th. However, an incident report does not say whether anything was taken. A break-in was also reported about 10 miles away at the home of Travis Kelce. A police report shows $20,000 in cash was taken. It's not clear whether anyone has been arrested.
Sixth-ranked Duke faced a tough challenge on the road last night, playing 19th-ranked Kentucky. This was the State Farm Champions Classic neutral site game in Atlanta just after 11:30 last night. The game came down to the closing seconds with Duke trailing by 2, and freshman Cooper Flagg brought the ball down the court, lost control of it, stepped out of bounds, and that was pretty much it. Kentucky ended up getting the win, coming from behind, down 9 at halftime to Duke, winning 77-72.
KFC is suing Church's Chicken over its use of the words original recipe. KFC says Church's is violating trademark law by using the words in its advertising. In the ads, Church's refers to its original recipe, a fried chicken. And the phrase, as you know, has long been a part of KFC's branding. The company first trademarked the words in 1984. Church's has declined to comment on the lawsuit.
Memory Griffin is about to turn 102 years old. He served stateside during World War II and taught soldiers how to be soldiers. WRAL's Gilbert Bays spoke with Griffin about his life, love, and longevity.
These hands were molded from veterans from all over North Carolina. Today, I had the pleasure of shaking the hand of a 101-year-old veteran who proudly served during World War II.
Memory Griffin was named after an uncle he never met. He was drafted into the Army during World War II after dropping out of college and helped train young black recruits.
We used to go out on bivouac, and I taught them how to shoot a gun, a rifle, really.
Griffin comes from a long line of family members who proudly served in the armed forces.
Okay, military history of this family. You got Cleveland, Memory, Broadus, Hal, Linda Griffin, who lives in Virginia, Cherie, and Ross.
After being discharged from Fort Bragg, Griffin moved to Washington, D.C. He worked several jobs, including being a cab driver, which nearly cost him his life during an attempted robbery.
You should have the money, because I got a gun in the back of your head.
Griffin was shot in the face. The bullet still lodged in his head. It causes his slurred speech, but he survived and went on to work at the U.S. Mint, where the money is printed. During his 100th birthday, family members gave him this picture frame stuffed with freshly printed dollar bills. The Army veteran has no children and waited until he was 90 to marry his beautiful bride, Geraldine, who has sadly passed away. Griffin says there is no secret to longevity.
Through the mercy of God. That's the only thing ever. That's the only thing that I can say.
So we celebrate all of our veterans every day because every day is Veterans Day. In Fayetteville, Gilbert Bays, WRAL News.
Better person for having shaken that hand, for sure. The family is planning another big celebration for the Army veterans' 102nd birthday, December 7th, which is Pearl Harbor Day. My Chemical Romance fans have the chance to experience their career-defining album, The Black Parade, in full nearly 2 decades after it was released. The band is going on a 10-date North American Stadium tour next year. They posted this announcement video to their Instagram. The tour kicks off July 11th in Seattle and then heads to several other venues. Each date will feature a different opening act, from veterans like Alice Cooper to alternative rock bands like Evanescence. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m.
Today marks 2 years since 4 University of Idaho students were murdered. The vigil happening today at the college to honor their lives.
Amazon is moving more business to North Carolina, where the newest facility will be built.
And it's official. Actor John Krasinski is People Magazine's Sexiest Man of the Year. His reaction to the nomination coming up at 5.